when tough times hit, getting a new car always isn't the best option out there. So are these the times when we start looking into pre-owned vehicles? And if we get pre-owned vehicles, which ones do we really want to get? Now the Honda Accord, this one I have right beside me, is a 2009 Sedan. Are they some of the options that are still valuable today? This may be an 11-year-old car. Today we're going to take a look into why it may still be a valuable option. Because at the end of the day, if budget is tight and you need a solid, reliable car, something like this may be a solid option for you. Now starting off the front end, you really won't find anything that you see in today's vehicles. Now even Honda Civics have LED daytime running lights. Is this what you're going to find in the Accord? Obviously not. This was more of a luxury feature back in the days, and now it's standard basically because consumers demand it. So let's take a look at what the 2009 has to offer. Now if we go back down, we have nothing but halogen lights everywhere. Halogen turn signals, halogen high beams, halogen low beams. No grille openings anywhere on this side, no fog lights. Higher trim levels did, however, include halogen fog lights as well. Moving up through the center grille is fairly open. I'll crawl down because I know I'm too tall to get everything in the shot. I am 6'1", so it'd be a good way to see how I fit in the vehicle, and if you're a tall person, it might benefit you too. The center of the grille, fully functional. No safety sensors were invented back then for mainstream bands at least, so this completely remains hollow. The lower portion of the grille is also completely functional. Other than that though, it's a very smooth front end. Down the hood, you had two very distinctive lines. Now these lines also ran on the side of the body, and they gave the Accord a really nice characteristic look, which we all love today. Let's take a look at the rims right here and the wheels. The tire and wheel options weren't nothing special from back then. These came with a fairly standard 16-inch wheel. Higher trim models, they had more bigger size wheels, and they were alloys as well. Now these right here are steels, even though they give off a pretty deceiving look of being actual rims. This is black steels with nice, I think these are pretty nice hubcaps that Honda threw along. Now let's take a look along the back end of the vehicle here. So that line that we discussed, that was up here, it pretty much goes all along the body side view of this entire sedan. You can see it very noticeable. It goes all the way down. I really like that. I think it adds some character to the vehicle. Coming down to the bottom sills, it came out a little bit, not too much. Gives it more character in my opinion. Better than having nothing but a flat end, because nobody really likes flat ends if I'm being honest, right? Now let's move along down the sills. A very traditional sedan look. I really enjoy it. I know we're kind of in a fastback kind of fever for everybody. They love seeing the coupe-like designs. I still really enjoy the traditional sedans, and I also enjoy fastback looks as well though. But other than that, not really a whole lot to talk about in the side view here. Let's move the camera along to the back and see how that back end looks, because it is definitely one of my favorite ends. Catch you in the back. Moving along to the back end now, I would say it is definitely one of the better looking sides of this vehicle. I especially like the shape of the taillights. They look very menacing for some reason. Overall, I think the 2009 Honda Accord, and specifically this generation of the Accord, it definitely has aged really well. They still look super nice, really modern on the streets. I really enjoy driving one. Taking a look at the lights specifically, if we move along the camera here, we had, once again, no LEDs anywhere. We had halogen brake lights, excuse me about that, halogen turn signals, halogen reverse, very clean rear end, just the Honda logo, Accord logo, nothing else. I really like that as well. Now if we move along to the exhaust right here, single outlet, looks great. I mean, if you got a V6, you would get another exhaust out here for the dual, but it definitely is not that bad at all. Now let's take a look to see how this exhaust sounds. Now taking a look underneath the hood, the Honda Accord had a 4-cylinder engine that it came with for the base trim. This one is a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. No, nothing special in terms of power. had 171 horsepower and I believe 167 pound-feet of torque. You can always opt out for the V6, which almost gave it 100 more horsepower at, I believe, 271, and that would be more quicker, obviously. And for the weight, this one comes in around close to 3,300 pounds, so it does feel a little slow off the line, not really a performance car. But once again, this was based to be a four-door family sedan, larger than a Civic, just for making enough interior space for them. Talking about the interior, how about we go take a look at the interior and see how this 2009 Accord looks like. Alright, let's come on in. First impression of this 2009 Honda Accord interior. You know what, for a base trim that was the cheapest one around, it definitely does seem pretty nice. Nice steering wheel. All the soft touch materials are going to be pretty much allocated to where most of your touch points are. For example, right here, the upper door panel here is more soft touch. If you go down here, it's more solid plastic, really, and all around the door panel. Power switchgear, power windows, locks, mirrors, that's about it, really. Surprisingly, this vehicle came with vehicle stability assist, which I definitely thought it wouldn't have. If you want to turn it off, the button's right here. Nice area for storage right here. Other than that, your typical HVAC controls. Now, one thing I loved about older vehicles like this one right here are the rotary dials. How easy is it to decide where, what kind of temperature you want and how fast you want the speed to come at, right? I want warm air, boom, boom, boom. Super simple. Cold air, same thing. Typical audio layout from Honda's back then. 6 preset displays, CD player, power button, nice big volume knob, nice tuning knob, skip buttons. The center display itself was fairly simple. Display the time, nothing too much. Let's get the keys out actually and look at these gauges right here. Get some AC on in here too. Now the gauges themselves have those 2 rings around it. They're fairly simple. I think they look really classy, really elegant for especially a non-performance family sedan right here. Typical layout. I mean, this is all hard touch, but this feels nice. Decent sized glove box as well. Moving down to the center stack, we have a couple storage compartments here. One is closed with a lid, a fairly decent size for CDs, business cards, whatever you have. Actually, who uses CDs anymore? It's all about streaming, right? Another open storage area right here. A couple areas for your change. We have a 12-volt adapter right here. Your transmission gear selector. It's very nice. Very nice, actually. Very nice and smooth. Everything felt really nice from these engines and transmissions back then. Handbrake, right where I love them. Nice big handle to pull on. Cup holders, average size. One with a deep storage, one with a shorter one. They're kind of adjustable and they'll hold your drinks in place. I really like how you can close everything up for a really clean appearance. Now coming on to the center console here, open it up for your storage. You have a 12-volt, you have an auxiliary jack, a lot of space for all your personal stuff. So other than that, it's a fairly easy going interior. The wheel itself, really nice to grab onto. Nice indents for your 9 and 3. Flat black buttons, cruise, volume. You're not going to see your fingerprints anywhere. Even the airbag cover for the age, it looks really nice. Let's hop into the back seat and see how that looks. Now, one thing I forgot to mention when I was in the front seat, by the way, I'm 6'1". I left the seat exactly where I would be sitting when I was driving this thing, and I was comfortable. I had lots of headroom, especially you can see up here, the indent in the headliner. You have a lot of headroom up here. So if you're a tall person, this car will fit you perfectly fine. Now, I left the seat exactly where I am. Back here, I still have at least 1 to 2 inches of headroom, and my legs move around easily. The center hump itself is not that big at all. Whoever took care of this car, man, wow, it's in great shape for a 2009. Same as the front door panels, the soft touch material on the back top here. Hard touch, hard touch, hard touch. Decent amount of space. Moving on to the center here. Let's move it down to this armrest. Wow. You see how deep my elbow goes in there? Now that's comfortable. A couple of different size cup holders. I can probably sit here for a nice 3-hour trip pretty comfortably. Not being finicky around anywhere. There's no connectivity. It's a fairly simple, straightforward vehicle from back then. LX, right? This is a litter center stack storage area where you can shove your skis through if you want to, or you can actually split the seats down as well. Now, not too much to talk about back here, but let's go into the cargo area and talk about that. Now, this one came with a solid 14 cubic feet of storage. Cubic inches of storage. 14 feet is way too much for something this size. Fairly simple trunk area. You had a little switch gear right here to push your seats down. Smooth. Cargo crushers right here. Underneath, you had some spare tires that it came with. Spare tires, some tools, and that's about it, really. Now, this Ford was great to review. Let's go and do the ultimate test that we all like to see, and that is our driving impressions. Alright guys, let's do a quick 0 to 60 test. This isn't the road I'm going to be doing the entire review on, but let's see what this 4-cylinder 171 horsepower Honda Accord sedan's got. Let's do a launch here in 3, 2, 1. Definitely not the fastest. It sounds like it's going to be fast, and it seems like it's going to be fast, but it definitely is not. Let's go into these windy bits up ahead and see what this car does handling. Let's go and see how this car does on these windy roads. This is probably one of my most favorite areas with the best windy roads. Who doesn't love windy roads, especially when you're an enthusiast? We've got a first turn coming up. Now this obviously is not a performance vehicle, but it's still fun to drive though. Now, you know, this car started back in the days when it was brand new. It started up at about 25,000 Canadian, about 21,000 American dollars, which is pretty cheap compared to how much new Accords start at. Nowadays, with this kind of kilometers and mileage around my local area, you can probably find this car for about 8 to 10,000, maybe even 11,000 for better quality, lower kilometer ones. It's a fun car to drive, great on gas. I'll have the fuel numbers posted up as well for you guys. And yeah, would I recommend this car? I think if you need a reliable car that's a little fun to drive, cheap on gas, cheap to fix, I totally would recommend it. Look at that. And plus, it sounds pretty good, even though it's a slower car. I'll let you guys just enjoy the drive here for a little bit. Especially coming out of these turns when you drop down gears, it's really fun. Look at that, beautiful roads. Sounds like a electric car sometimes. Fun times. Now this was actually my first ever video. I know it was, I'm not gonna lie, I even cringed looking at myself a little bit in the actual footage when I was reviewing it. But I hope to continue making great content and get access to more cars that you guys would want to see reviews of. And I obviously am going to do my part in getting better at this craft. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I will catch you on the next one. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a thumbs up below. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy the content. If not, that's okay. We hope to get you next time. And yeah, take care. Have a great day and enjoy life. Never slow down.